Hotep Mighty Scientists of the Congo Nation. I'm Sister Johnson and welcome to our science lesson. Today is Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. Before learning about Earth Day, you joined Sister Lindsay in learning about the weather. You learned how to measure the weather and also discussed adjectives to describe the weather. I would like to begin our lesson by reviewing those adjectives. We are going to use this clustering chart and write down adjectives to describe the weather. Congo Nation, please take a minute to copy down this web chart in your composition book, and then we will begin. All right, scholars, who can tell me an adjective that we use to describe the weather? Very good. Cold is one of those adjectives. So let's add cold to our web chart. What's another word we can use to describe the weather? Very good. The opposite of cold is hot. Let's add hot to our web chart. Good job. Who has another adjective? Very good. We can use the word windy to describe the weather. What about Brother Nathaniel? Can you give us an adjective to describe the weather? Snowy, very good. Snowy is another way that we can describe weather. All right, I need a mighty scholar to give me another one. Rainy, very good. Rainy is another way to describe the weather. And when it's rainy, what happens outside? What happens outside? Very good, it becomes wet. Wet is another way to describe the weather. What's the opposite of wet, Congo Nation? Dry, good job. Dry is another way to describe the weather. All right, let's add one more to our web chart. Okay, along the lines of windy, we can add breezy. Breezy is a great way to describe the weather. Okay, scholars, so let's review the adjectives that we added to our web chart. Let's read them together, and then if you're not finished copying down your web chart, you're going to make sure that you get these notes into your composition book. Let's read together. Moja and Billy Tattoo. Weather adjectives. Windy, cold, dry, hot, wet, breezy, rainy, and snowy. Good job, Congo Nation. Very good. The reason why we discuss weather adjectives is because today we will learn about seasons. These adjectives can be used to describe certain seasons, and some of these adjectives can be used to describe all four. Now let's talk about the Nia of seasons. We know that Nia means purpose, and purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created. It is why something exists. Our Nia, or our purpose as African descendants, is to restore African American people back to our traditional greatness. We are responsible to our ancestors, those who came before us, and those who will come after us. But what is the purpose of seasons? In order to answer this question, we will view a video about what the earth would be like without seasons. I would like for you, during the video, to be a mighty note taker. You will be responsible for pausing the video and writing 3 ways the earth would be different without seasons. Now this video is challenging. It has an abundance of information. So Congo, please take your time. Feel free to pause the video whenever you need. But remember, you have to write down at least 3 reasons or 3 ways the earth would be different without seasons. Open up a new tab at the top of your browser. You can return to Mama Pat or Sister Lindsay's page and click the link that says 42820 if there were no seasons. All right, Congo Nation, so I want you to head over to that video. Once you view the video, and you're going to watch it twice, 2 times, so that you do not miss any information. Now watch it 2 times and then return to our science lesson. I'll see you soon. Congo Nation, welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed our science video and you learned just as much as I did. And I know that you were a mighty note taker and wrote down at least 3 ways the earth would be different if we didn't have seasons. I was also a mighty note taker as I viewed the video, and I would like to share the 7 ways that I wrote down. All right, and I'm going to do that in the form of this web chart. The title of the web chart is If There Were No Seasons. All right, Congo Nation, so this is what I learned from our video. The first thing that I learned is that if there were no seasons, there would be too much rain. And it would make it difficult for crops to grow. So in some areas of the earth, there would be too much rain, which would make it hard for plants to grow. So I'm going to add that to the web chart. In areas with too much rain, it would be difficult for crops to grow. So I thought that was extremely interesting because crops are important. Crops are definitely important to the food that we're able to eat. So another thing that I learned is that since it would be difficult for crops to grow, we wouldn't have food like wheat or barley or corn or potatoes. So I do want to add that on my board as well, on my web as well. We would not have crops like wheat, corn, barley, or potatoes. Okay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation. So the next thing that I learned is that if we didn't have seasons, that some animals wouldn't survive. I'm going to add that to my web chart. If we did not have seasons, some animals wouldn't survive. Okay, Bo? The next thing that I learned is that if we didn't have seasons, the earth would get colder as we moved away from the center of the earth, and it would be warmer towards the center. So that means in some part of the earth, there would be winters that lasted all year round. And I learned that some people wouldn't be able to survive those winters. I'm going to add that to my web chart. The earth would get colder as you move further away from the Earth's center. Oh. All right, the Earth would get colder as you move further away from the Earth's center. And what would that cause, Congo? Very good. It will cause some areas to experience year-round winters. Yabo? All right. I also learned that what if we didn't have winter? I learned why winter is very important because one reason winter is important is it protects against insects that carry illnesses. So I would like to write that on the whiteboard, on our web chart. So winter protects against insects that carry diseases. Sorry, you can't see. Diseases. All right, and we don't want that, Congo, right? We don't want insects that carry diseases. We wouldn't want to deal with that, each day or all year round. All right, and the last thing that I learned is that most people would want to live in warmer places, right? But there wouldn't be enough room. So places would be overpopulated. All right, so areas of the earth would be overpopulated. That means there's too many people in one place. Would be overpopulated. So Congo, these are some of the ways the earth would be different if there were no seasons. I am excited to see your notes and see what you wrote down. But let's review the notes that I took, okay? Let's review our web chart. Let's read it together. If there were no seasons, the earth would get colder as you moved further away from the earth's center. Areas of the earth would be overpopulated. We would not have crops like wheat, corn, barley, or potatoes. Some people would experience year-round winters. In areas with too much rain, it would be difficult for crops to grow. If there were no seasons, some animals wouldn't survive. And winter protects against insects that carry diseases. Scholars, now it is time to use what you know and answer the question, what is the Nia of seasons? Write your answer to the question, what is the Nia of seasons, in your composition book. All right, Congo, let's take a look at how we define seasons. Seasons are 4 different times during the year with different types of weather. Which season is shown in this photograph? How do you know? Write down your answer in your composition book. So what do all 4 seasons have in common? All 4 seasons affect the weather, the air, plants, and animals. And we're going to find out exactly how the 4 seasons affect those things by looking at each season. You guys are going to organize the information you learn about each season using a top hat graphic organizer. Let's take a look. Congo, this is our top hat graphic organizer. We use the top hat graphic organizer to compare and contrast more than one topic. So our topics are autumn, spring, summer, and winter. You are going to create this chart inside of your composition book. So you can turn your composition book sideways and create 4 columns. My columns continue to the next page because we're going to write a lot of information in each column. So I want you to have enough room. Please head your 4 columns, autumn, spring, summer, and winter. And then at the bottom of those columns, you're going to create a 5th column, which says all 4 seasons. Let's learn about autumn. Autumn is the season that follows summer. The air gets cooler. There are fewer hours of daylight than in summer. Some leaves change color and drop off the trees. Some animals move to warmer places. People wear jackets to stay warm. Some animals gather food to store for winter. What do you know about autumn? All right, Congo, now let's write down what we learned about autumn in the autumn section of our top hat graphic organizer. So I want you to point to where your heading says autumn. Very good. That's where you're going to write this information. All right, so let's begin. What did we learn about autumn? What happens to the air in autumn? Very good. The air gets cooler. Thank you, Brother Quadir. So we're going to add that to our top hat graphic organizer. Brother Quadir told us that in autumn, the air gets cooler. Very good. Thank you, brother. All right. What else do we know about autumn? What about autumn in relation to time? What do we know about the hours during the season of autumn? Yes, Sister Eliza, you are correct. We have fewer hours of daylight in autumn than we do in summer. So let's write that on our top hat graphic organizer. In autumn, we have fewer hours of daylight than in what season, Congo? Summer. Very good. Fewer hours of daylight than in summer. Thank you, Sister Eliza. All right, what else do we know about autumn? What happens in nature during autumn? Good job, Sister Mackenzie. In autumn, the leaves fall from the trees. Let's write that on our top hat graphic organizer. The leaves, and you know what? These are complete sentences. So we're going to go back to our first point and make that a capital T instead of a lowercase t. All right? So the leaves fall from the trees. Very good, Sister Mackenzie. Thank you. All right, what do animals do during autumn, Congo Nation? Very good. I heard it from Walid first. He told us that in autumn, the animals gather food to store for winter. Very good. Let's add that to our top hat graphic organizer. The animals gather food to store for winter. Good job. If you knew that fact, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Very good. Thank you, Brother Walid, for giving it to us. All right, scholars, now I want you at home, independently, to write one more thing that you know or learned about autumn. So go ahead and write one more thing on your list, on your top hat graphic organizer, and we're going to move on to learning about spring. In spring, the air warms. There may be many rainy days. Plants begin to grow, and trees grow new leaves. People can wear light jackets outside. Some animals have their young in spring. What else do you know about spring? Okay, Congo, let's move on to the spring section of our graphic organizer. So tell me what you know about spring. What happens to the air in spring? Thank you, Sister Genelise. Sister Genelise said that the air warms in spring. So let's write that down. In spring, the air warms. Very good. What do we know about the plants in spring? How do they change? Okay, Sister Zoe Thomas says that plants begin to grow and trees grow leaves. If you believe that is true, or if you know that to be true because that's what you learned in the video, clap twice. Very good. Thank you, Sister Zoe. So in the spring, the plants begin to grow. And what happens to the trees? Very good. Those leaves grow again. The plants begin to grow. And leaves grow on trees. Thank you, Ms. Zoe Thomas. Good job. All right, what do we wear in the spring, Congo Nation? What do we wear in the spring? Okay, we might wear a light jacket. Let's add that on there. We wear light jackets. Good, because if we think about the weather during the springtime, it will require us to wear a light jacket. Even though that air is warming, it's not hot or too warm like it is in the summer, right? So we still need to wear those light jackets. What do we know about the animals in spring? What happens to animals? Very good, Bryce. We learned that some animals have their young. Some animals have their young. Very good. These are great things to put on our graphic organizer. Now, just like you did for autumn, you're going to write one thing independently about what you know about spring. So go ahead and take a minute to add that last fact on your top hat graphic organizer. And now we can move on to summer. Summer is the season that follows spring. In summer, the air can be hot. Some places may have storms. There are more hours of daylight than in spring. Some plants grow fruit in summer. Young animals grow bigger. People dress to stay cool. They wear hats and sunglasses to keep safe from the sun. This hare's fur is brown in summer. The brown fur helps the hare to hide. What else do you know about summer? Okay, I need some mighty scholars to help us fill out the summer section of our Top Hat graphic organizer. So I need a mighty scholar to tell me, what happens to the air during summer? What happens to the air during summer, Brother Nakai? Very good. The air in summer is hot. So let's put that the air is hot. Very good. Thank you, Brother Nakai. What do we know about summer in relation to time? What do we know about the hours of the day in summer? Sister Riley? Very good, Riley. In summer, we have more hours of daylight than any other season. Let's write that on our graphic organizer. In summer, we have more hours of daylight than any other any other season. Very good. So in summer, our days are the longest than any other time of the year. All right, what happens to the plants, Brother Rodney? What happens to the plants in summer? Very good. Some plants grow their fruit in summer. So let's write that down. Some plants grow fruit. Very good. All right, Congo Nation, what else do you know about summer? You want to think about one other thing you know about summer and write it, add it to your Top Hat graphic organizer. Once you're finished adding that sentence, we can go ahead and move on to our last season, which is winter. Winter is the season that follows fall. In some places, the air can be cold. It may even snow. Winter has the fewest hours of daylight. Many trees lose their leaves in winter. Some animals grow more fur to keep warm. People wear warm coats outside, and in a few months, it will be spring again. This hare's fur has turned white. The hare can hide in the snow. What else do you know about winter? All right, Congo Nation, we learned about our fourth season, which is winter. Now we want to add our information to our graphic organizer. So, Sister Olivia, how does the air feel in winter? Very good. The air is cold. Let's add that to our graphic organizer. In winter, the air is cold. All right, thank you, Sister Olivia. Good job. Now, what do we know about daylight in winter? What do we know about daylight in winter? Very good, Brother Jaden. We know that winter has the fewest hours of daylight. Winter has The fewest hours of daylight. That means that in winter, our days are darker longer, right? It takes longer for the sun to rise, and it sets really early. So it seems like most of our day doesn't have any daylight. It has the fewest hours of daylight during the winter. All right, what happens to the trees? What happens to the trees, Congo? And you all are going to give me this answer, okay? So put it to your head, put it to your mouth, blow and release. Very good. The trees lose their leaves, okay? So trees lose their leaves. Very good. All right, Congo, let's add some more. Let's add something else. Let's talk about the animals. What happens to animals during the winter? Very good, Sister Skylar. So we learned from the information from winter that animals grow fur to keep warm. Let's add that. Animals grow fur to keep warm. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo, you know what your next step is. I want you to think about one more thing that you know about winter and add it to your graphic organizer. Yay, Bo? Congo Nation, for the last part of our lesson, we want to revisit our weather adjectives and add them to our top hat graphic organizer. So we're going to do the first 6 together, and then you will be responsible for sorting the last 6. Let's take a look at the first adjective. The first adjective says rainy. Where does this adjective best fit? Does it fit with autumn, spring, summer, or winter? If we describe the weather during these 4 seasons, which one might we use rainy? What do you think? Is it autumn? Clap twice. Spring? Clap twice. Summer? Winter? Very good. I heard scholars clap on spring, because when we think about the spring, that's really where we live, our most rainy season, right? It's supposed to rain a lot during spring, and that's what makes that change in nature. All of our plants and our trees begin to grow, and the rain has a lot to do with that, Congo Nation. So when we think about the 4 seasons, we would put the adjective rainy with spring. Go ahead and write that down on your graphic organizer. All right, let's move on to our second adjective. Our adjective is frigid. Now, frigid is a more intense way to describe the cold, right? We learned shades of meaning and that there are adjectives that are a little more intense and can better describe something. So in this case, frigid describes something that's a little more than just cold. So in what season would we have frigid weather? What do you think? Would it be autumn, spring, summer, or winter? Very good. I'm going to say winter. In winter, there are definitely days where we have frigid weather. Okay? You can write that down on your graphic organizer. And please excuse my shadow. All right, let's move on to our third graphic organizer. Our third adjective. Let's move on to our third adjective, which is snowy. What season do we experience snow? Winter, very good. So snowy is an adjective that we can use to describe winter weather. Yay, Bo? If you with me so far, say check. Very good. All right, we have 3 more adjectives to do together. The next adjective is, what's this word, Congo? Hot. Very good. What season does the adjective hot belong in? Very good. Summer. And that was even already on our graphic organizer, right? We said that the air is hot. So let's go ahead and add hot to summer. Good job. All right. Brother Cayenne, read this for us. Dry. Let's think about this. So dry weather. Do we have dry weather in autumn? Is fall a season where we experience a lot of rain? What do you think? Yes or no? Yeah, I would say no too. I don't think in autumn we experience much rain. So we could put this for autumn. Are there any other seasons where we experience dry weather? Very good. In the summer, some people might describe the weather for summer as dry. So this is one of those adjectives that can fit in more than one season. So go ahead and write that for autumn and write it for summer. Yay, Bo? All right, and I'm just going to stick it up here with summer. I think summer would be the season with the driest weather. Okay? All right, let's move on to the last one that we're going to do together. And that adjective is what? Cold. Very good. Which one of these seasons is cold? Winter. Winter is in the lead. Winter is in the lead right now. Very good. With 3 adjectives. So cold would be an adjective used to describe winter weather. Let's read what we have so far, and then let's read the adjectives that you are responsible for sorting. Okay, so far we don't have any adjectives to describe autumn weather. For spring, we have the adjective rainy, very good. For summer, hot and dry. And for winter, we have frigid, snowy, and cold. Very good. These are the adjectives that you are going to sort and put in the correct column. Windy, calm, stormy, breezy, humid, and wet. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation, so I'm going to put these up here, and you can pause the video and write these adjectives in their correct column. If you feel like these adjectives can describe more than one season, then you can put them in more than one column. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation, so we have come to the end of our lesson. Now what you're going to do is make sure that you complete the 5th section of our Top Hat graphic organizer. Please answer the question, what do these 4 seasons have in common? We learned information that was true about each season. Now it's your responsibility to write down what these 4 seasons have in common. Once you're finished doing that section of your Top Hat graphic organizer, you are all done. You will then take a picture of your graphic organizer and also your comprehension question, what is the NIA of seasons, and send those pictures to grade 1 at sfacs.us. Thank you so much, scientists, for tuning into this lesson, and I will see you on Thursday.